What's going on, guys? Welcome back to Everyday Sports Mania. And in today's video, I'm going to be doing my Wildcard weekend recap and reaction. Just like that, the NFL season is done, and Wildcard weekend is done as well. And we got the divisional round next week, then conference championship, then the Super Bowl. Sadly, my Patriots are not in the playoffs. And sadly, some teams had to be eliminated in today or yesterday and the day before for Wild Card weekend. But it's the playoffs. It's an honor to play in the playoffs. So let's get right into this video. First matchup I'm going to be talking about is the one last night. Let's start from the beginning. Colts, Bills. Let's go. So to start it off, we got the Buffalo Bills versus the Indianapolis Colts. Buffalo Bills, this was a very good game. It came down to the wire. It was looking like Buffalo was going to win when we got to the third quarter. They're up 24-10. Ended up winning 27-24. Buffalo was 13-3 on the year. The Colts were 11-5, now 11-6. But it was definitely one of the best games of the Wild Card weekend. Definitely think it was the best game. But you look at it, the passing wasn't amazing by the Bills, but the Colts got the job done. Phillip Rivers, 309 yards, 2 touchdowns. Great game from him. Jonathan Taylor, 78 yards. Nyheim Hines had 75 yards. They didn't really, and then they used Michael Pittman on a on a jet sweep for 11 yards. So great game overall from the Colts, and they were down. They probably were losing a lot of confidence. Down 14-10, and then it went 14-10, 17-10, 24-10, and then it goes from there 24-10, and then 24-24, I believe the score was, and then the Bills just pulled away. But great game overall, and for the Bills stats, the Bills played they didn't have the best game, but Josh Allen, 324 yards, 2 touchdowns, and they played solid. The run game didn't look amazing. Singletary and Moss both had 21 yards, and Allen led them with 11 carries for 54 yards. But how about Stephon Diggs, man? Stephon Diggs, 6 catches, 128 yards, 1 touchdown. Controversially, the best wide receiver in the NFL. But definitely a great game. They used Gabriel Davis a lot, 4 for 85. And Cole Beasley, the injured Cole Beasley, did very well as well, with 7 catches for 57 yards. He could have did a little bit better, but considering getting 57 yards and getting the ball past you 7 times on an injury, he did just fine. Moving on to the Seahawks versus the Rams. 30-20, the Rams win, coming out with the upset. Pretty much the only upset of the week. I mean, I think the Ravens were favored to win, and yeah, that's about it. But Rams pulling out the dub and exposing the Seattle Seahawks' biggest weakness, and that was the offensive line. The Rams racked up a ton of sacks. Every time you turned on the game, Wilson was on the ground and Donald was celebrating. But they switched off a QB. They started off with John Wolford. Quandre Diggs, I believe, slammed his helmet into Wolford's shoulder. Wolford did not return to the game. He was 3 for 6, 29 yards, so no touchdowns, no picks. Posted Jared Goff with a pretty much no thumb. 9 for 19, 155 yards, a touchdown. Got the job done. It wasn't the prettiest game, and there were a lot of punts, and he wasn't getting that many explosive plays. But all that matters is the Rams got the job done. Cam Akers carried the ball very well, very efficiently, with 28 for 131 and 1 touchdown. Great game from him. Malcolm Brown, 9 for 30, and Goff and Wolford didn't do much. Cooper Kupp, 4 for 78. They didn't really get the pass involved. But great game overall from the Rams, and I think they will. I think they play the Saints, if I'm not wrong, or the Saints will play the Bucs and they'll play the Packers. But post for Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson, not a very good game. 11 for 27, 174 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. And they couldn't really get the run game going at all. DK Metcalf had a good game, but throughout the game, He threw a tantrum. I'm sorry, Seahawks fans, but he did. He threw a tantrum against when he fumbled or dropped the ball from Jalen Ramsey. But he still had 2 touchdowns, was very good for him, 96 yards. But how about Lockett? 2 catches, 43 yards, but that amazing one-hand catch. And how about Jalen Ramsey? Jalen Ramsey did very well, but moving on to the next game, 30-20 LA Rams won. The final game on Saturday, Washington football team, Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Washington football team ended up in the year 7-9, which was the worst record for any playoff team behind the Chicago Bears. And then the Buccaneers 12-4 they went. This game was a lot closer than it should have been. I don't think Tom Brady had the best game, but they still pulled out with the dub. I mean, Tom Brady did very well. I don't think the Bucs defense did well containing Taylor Heineke. I bet you haven't heard that name before this game. But 31-23, the Buccaneers did take the win. Leonard Fournette, very good game, 93 yards and a touchdown. Antonio Brown, I think was the key to this game. Mike Evans was questionable going into this game. He got hurt in the Falcons game. But 6 for 119. And how about Cameron Brate? You don't see him a lot. It's more O.J. Howard. But they didn't have O.J. Howard, so 44 for 80 for Cameron Brate, and Gronk didn't get any catches. But Antonio Brown, 2 for 49, a very good touchdown from Tom Brady. And that's it for the Bucs. They will be playing the Packers, if I'm not wrong. But how about Taylor Heineke? 306 yards, a touchdown and a pick, and a rushing touchdown, 26 for 44. Very impressed by him, and he could earn himself a starting job in the future. Taylor Heineke also led in rushing yards, 6 for 46, and a touchdown. 2 touchdowns, only 1 pick on the game. And the passing game, it wasn't amazing. It could have been better. But it worked out. Cam Sims, 7 for 104. You don't really hear from him at all. Terry McLaurin, 6 for 75. And the rest was history. Great game from Washington overall. I don't think the Bucs played bad, but I think the Washington football team just played good, and that is why it was so close. Moving on to the Sunday games, we got the Ravens and the Titans, the rematch. Titans won 28-12 last game. Ravens won 20, and this time the Ravens pulled up the dub, 20-13. Very similar records, 11-5 and 12-4. The AFC South champions could not pull out the dub, and they actually blew a lead. An incredible comeback by the Ravens. They had a 10-0 lead. Baltimore tied it at 10 before the half, and then the rest was history. 17-10 it went, and then the Ravens coming out with the dub. Lamar Jackson did not look good, I'll tell you that. He ran the ball very efficiently, and that's basically all Lamar is going to have to do when he's playing with bad run defenses. And he didn't throw the football at all. He had a disgusting interception, and then 179 yards, only threw 7 incompletions, but he didn't throw a touchdown, he threw a pick. Lamar, 16 for 136. Those are running back numbers. Those are Derrick Henry numbers. But we don't. And then the Titans did pretty well. Ryan Tannehill, 165 yards, a touchdown, and a pick. Wasn't the best game. Derrick Henry, I think, was the key to this game, only averaging 2.2 yards per carry. I think that killed the Titans, and I think he needs to step it up. And if he stepped it up, I think the Titans would have won this game overall. Lamar did not look good throwing the ball, and I don't think the defense did amazing either. But the receiving game, A.J. Brown was a huge part of this team, 683 and a touchdown. And then the rest, really no one else did much. And then moving on, they got the dub. Congrats to the Ravens. Next, 21-9, Saints won. This game was very, very interesting. All right, it started off like, oh, this could be close. But Jalen Wims, I think his name is, dropped that touchdown pass for the Bears. That would have made it maybe, if they got the 2-point conversion, it would have been 21-17. The Bears may have had more momentum, and the Bears could have won that game. But that didn't happen. Trubisky, I don't think looked bad. I mean, he didn't throw 200 yards, 10 incompletions, 19 completions, 1 touchdown, no pick. Montgomery, just like Henry, was huge. Montgomery not playing well was huge. And Darnell Mooney, the Bears not having Darnell Mooney really killed. So the Bears couldn't get the job done, and I'm more impressed, to be honest, with the Saints. I don't think the Bears could have done anything else on defense. They stood up and they stopped one of the best trio in the NFL, Thomas, Brees, and Kamara. As for Drew Brees, a very good game, 28 for 39, 265 yards, 2 touchdowns. Very impressed with Brees' performance. And then Taysom Hill was a big part of the game in the Wildcat formation. Alvin Kamara, 1 yard away from 100, but he did have a touchdown. Deontay Harris and Michael Thomas, again, his first touchdown since 2018, I believe, or 2019. And then the final game of the day, 21-9, Saints win. And then the final game of the day, the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns. This game was very good. Very, very, very embarrassing for the Steelers. As a Patriots fan, I'm pretty happy that the Browns won. But the Steelers had a respected. You got to respect the Steelers and their comeback this game. I mean, they still lost the game by 11. But the Browns, they got to hold on to their leads better. They got outscored 27. They got outscored 37-20 in the final 3 quarters. They just had I'm not going to get anyone mad, but they may have had a couple lucky touchdowns. But Baker Mayfield looked very good, 3 touchdowns, no picks, 263 yards. Kareem Hunt and Nick Chubb combined had over 100 yards, and that's what the Browns got to do if they want to win. They just got to run the football efficiently, and that's going to get them the dub. They can beat anyone when they have a good running game. As for Big Ben, 4 interceptions, 4 touchdowns. Man, he did throw. Big Ben, this just makes me happy. 500 yards Big Ben threw. He threw 68 passes, 4 touchdowns, and 4 interceptions. What type of stat line is this? If you're throwing 500 yards, 68 passes, and 4 picks all in one game, that is just crazy to think about. But James Conner, 11 for 37 and a touchdown. And then Juju got the touchdown and then did the Corvette dance. I'm surprised he didn't get cracked by Myles Garrett. But that is Wildcard weekend in the books. I can't stop laughing about 68 passes, 500 yards, and 4 picks for Big Ben. But I think definitely if the Browns want to win, they got to step up their defense because they should not have allowed 37 points to the Steelers. But that's it. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Who's excited for divisional round? I am. And tell me, what do you think was the best game, the craziest game, and the worst game of them all in the comments down below. I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.